Good afternoon, Iceman.
G'day Phil, how you going, mate?
Fantastic, thank you. Yourself?
I'm alright, thanks, mate. Yeah.
Well, we haven't been here for 2 weeks, so we've got a lot of results to go through the last 2 weeks.
None good for us.
Well, no.
No, that's
you
okay.
had some semi-results.
That's alright. We had a good event yesterday.
We might as well start with the South Australian A-Ball Championships.
Look, yesterday was a fantastic event. It had all the top players in South Australia playing.
Yep.
And it was good to see few of the old names come back, like Jimmy Della. Dave Rothwell haven't seen him being around the traps for very long. He's not playing Super League. Nathan Neems was there as well. But the top players finished in the top 8. There was a great quarters.
Well, I did look at the results, and when I seen the 8 players left in the last 8, everyone was a strong player. Former state champion, Australian champion, state champion. There was no
world champion,
multiple. Well, you and James. So all I'm saying is the top 8 was solid. Normally you get 1 or 2 players sneak through, and but the field must have been very strong.
It was.
Guys.
Yeah. So I'll just go through a rundown of the quarterfinalists. Jaden D'Amica up against Dave Rothwell. Jaden played very well to win that game. After speaking with Dave Rothwell after the match, he tipped Jaden to win the match. He thought he played an exceptional pool against Dave. James Della up against Daniel Porter or Stewart. James Della got through on that one. Stacey and Sarwan. Stacey got through on that, and myself and Mikey. I lost a heel game with Mikey, 6-5. He ended up playing Stacey in the other semi. Defeated Stacey, got into the final. James Delahunty, who hasn't been around for a little while.
Well, Sony's been out for at least 2 years. Come back tournament. Fantastic effort.
Took out last year's champion, Jaden D'Amica. I think it was 7-2 in the semi. And
that's an impressive win.
And then in the final, it got to a heel Phil at 6-all, and it was the only tactical game they had. Right?
It was a shootout, was it?
Prior to that, they were just playing beautifully. Some of the shots that I recall, James Della cutting a black in looked like 85 degrees from the middle of the table, wasn't really on, and things like that. It just played awesome. Ended up being Mikey that was the winner, winning obviously 7-6. So that was a great result for Mikey.
Yeah, well, I was thinking about it this morning. He's the current state doubles champion.
Yes.
Current state 8-ball champion. Current state snooker champion, and he lost to James Evreniadis in the 9-ball. He could have held all the titles.
That would have been amazing for sure.
It's a very big effort that he's got them accolades.
And he actually holds the Queen's birthday comp winning on that one too.
He won that. Yeah. So
not quite as big, but great effort by Mikey. He played exceptional pool all day. It was great, and deserved winner. No problem there.
Well, it's still fantastic effort from James Della as well, making the final. And it's awesome for South Australian Q Sports that James is playing, because he's an amazing player, and to have him back on the scene, going to keep you and all the rest on their toes, and the rest of Australia. And you've got Stacey in the mix there, Nathan Neems playing, and Dave Rothwell playing. 2-shot 8-ball could not be any stronger, really.
Definitely.
All them players playing, and brilliant turnout for you, Iceman.
So we're hoping that they're all keen enough to play in the playoffs. And then get them, get a really strong state team out of that group. So, well, moving on from that, we had a group. Just a quick one. We had 71 entries for the state singles.
It's phenomenal, isn't it?
71. I think that's the highest we've ever had. Well, maybe 20 odd years ago.
Iceman, I know you had 300 entries a long time ago.
It's that way back.
Way back.
Wow.
Remember the state title used to go in their multiple round robins. It'd be like 10 in a group. Take 4 weeks to get to the last day.
I do recall that. Yes.
But that's when there was hundreds of teams playing. But in the modern era, when you've only had one league. 71. I think that's
great.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So moving on to the Queen's Birthday knockout, we had 27 players. I wasn't there for that, so I'm not sure the finer details, but ended up being Mikey was the winner in that, beating Nathan Neems in the final. So obviously his good form just continued on.
Yeah. Well, we've all spoke about him. He's a class player.
Yeah.
And he's not just state; he's an Australian champion, and we're lucky to have these quality players here, Iceman.
Definitely.
So, well done, Mikey.
So, what have you had on during the week, Phil?
Well, the last couple of weeks we also had a state title, Iceman. We had the ladies' state snooker title, and we'd spoken about the qualifier, but we had the final, which was between Lyndall and Taylor. It was a tough match. They played for over 4 hours. Taylor jumped Lyndall, won the first. She missed the pink to go 2-0 up, which probably hurt her. Well, it did hurt her in the end. But Lyndall seized on that opportunity, won that frame. Taylor went 2-1 up. Lyndall ground it back to a 2-all, and that obviously went to the deciding frame. And Lyndall got over the line, Iceman. So it was fitting that them two played in the final. They played the best in the qualifying. Lyndall practicing as opposed to Taylor not being practicing. Lyndall sort of had that edge, but the way Taylor started, I thought Taylor was going to get her. And Lyndall just used all of her experience from all her Q sports, dug in, held tight, and she just hung in there. And then when she got it to 2-all, the match just changed, and Lyndall was in control. Maybe at the end of the fourth frame, she sort of was getting on top of Taylor, but it was a really good final. Could have gone either way, and we had a big turnout of people here to watch it. And it was an excellent night. Fantastic effort from Lyndall, winning a state snooker title. She can add that to her CV of multiple events that she's won now. And she was on the night. Anyone could have won. It was that toss of the coin. Felt a bit sorry for Taylor in the end because either way it could have been a winner. But no, well done to Lyndall, and well done to Taylor on making another final. Even though she's not playing, she's still got the goods, Iceman. So she's a fantastic player. And hopefully both of them will play in the upcoming Australian ladies titles in July. And give that Jessica Woods a run for her money.
Well, they're going to have to play very well to keep up with her, aren't they?
Well, they are, but they can still do it.
Sure, they can. Yeah, well.
I know Lyndall was in here on the weekend practicing, so she's still solely focused on giving that girl a run for the money.
Sure.
I think both of them can both do well in that event.
Awesome.
So on top of that, Iceman, we also had the Challenger Snooker Series. I did tell you that Dave Limrith was going to break his duck and not be the bridesmaid for the 3rd year running, but I got it wrong, Iceman. And Dave started off on fire. It's best of 7. Dave won the first 2 frames, and Kieran needed 2 snookers on the blue in the 3rd frame. Kieran got a fantastic snooker, got 1 snooker, and then Dave fell for an old schoolboy trick where he had like the 6 shot at billiards, where the red will go in one pocket and the white in the other. Dave's rolled the blue to the corner pocket, obviously because Kieran needs snookers, and the white just goes in off in the other pocket. Gives Kieran ball in hand in the D with the blue over the hole, and Kieran ends up winning that frame. Match turned severely. Dave did have a chance in that next one, but I felt he was a bit upset from losing the frame, and then once Kieran got it to 2-all, Kieran played superb and won the next 2 frames. And took out the Challenger Series, not losing a match the whole series.
That's awesome, isn't it?
And it was a great effort from Kieran. And Dave, to his credit, played superb. And in the first 2 frames, looked every bit that he was going to win. I couldn't believe that Kieran actually won that match. But one bit of bad luck. It turns.
Does your head in, doesn't it?
And Kieran hanged in there, and all of a sudden Kieran wins the title. So bad luck from Dave, and well done to Kieran. Fantastic effort. And also,
any notable breaks, Phil? Any breaks?
In all of their matches on that night, Iceman, because we had 3 finals, and I'll tell you, they also had the plate. The plate was Hikmat Thorpe versus Derek Hill. Hikmat, it's best of 5. Hikmat is 2-0 down and needs a snooker on the pink. I've already gone and prepared the trophies, certificates. Yeah. I come back and Hikmat has got the snooker and he's won the frame and wins the match 3-2.
Oh wow!
So Lyndall was 2-1 down. Hikmat was 2-0 down and needed snookers. Kieran was 2-0 down and needed 2 snookers, and they all got up and won on the ice match.
Wow!
Like it's bizarre. But so you were talking about breaks, but first of all, well done Hikmat on winning the plate. He played superb after coming back from 2-0 down. But on the nights, there wasn't any huge breaks, and I all felt in all the matches there was a lot of tension and a lot riding on it, and they really desperately, all 6 players wanted to win, and it turned more into a fight and doing everything you can as opposed to knocking in high breaks.
Yep.
But in the Challenger League, Kieran had the highest break, was in the 50s.
Oh yeah, very good. Yeah.
And in the ladies, there was a couple of 30s made.
Okay. Yeah.
But also, Iceman, in this time we had the minor state snooker title as well.
Right. Yeah.
And we just spoke about Kieran Maguire because he's a player that in Adelaide not many people know about Kieran. So he played in the minor state snooker, and we had 24 players playing that, which is the maximum we could have for the round robin. And that went down to a semi-final. So Frank Zhao, the defending champion, he made 1 semi. Kieran Maguire got through the semi, and he was playing Frank. And then in the other semi was John Quinlan and Graham Halligan. And Iceman, when we were starting the final, I thought I was telling a joke because there was an Englishman, an Irishman, a Scotsman, and a Chinese man. But anyway, the 2 semis we had, I felt like youth, which was, although Frank's, you know, he's not though he's 16, but he's still relatively new to the sport. Frank and Kieran, 2 young guys, and Graham Halligan and John Quinlan, 2 experienced people. So it was always going to be youth versus experience. Kieran, who had knocked in the highest break at that stage, 52, he defeated Frank Zhao in the semi, 2-1. I probably had Frank favourite in that. So Kieran could have won 2 tournaments in a week. He's got into the final. And John Quinlan and Graham Halligan, John Quinlan beat Graham Halligan 2-0. And that match was a lot closer than the scoreline. So in the final, I now have Kieran favourite. The first frame, he's leading the whole way. John Quinlan steals it on the black. John Quinlan gets in 3-0. And it was that experience side of things. John just slowed it down, kept it tight. Kieran was more aggressive, let him in, trying to get back into it. And the thing we spoke about, Iceman, experience. So John Quinlan, the South Australian minor state snooker champion. So well done to John Quinlan on winning that event, and to Kieran Maguire making the final. And everyone will start to learn about Kieran Maguire, young Irish lad, and that's the first match he's lost in Snooker SA.
Wow.
So it's a pretty good effort.
Absolutely.
You know, he's probably played like 40 or 50 matches. And Iceman, I thought that's why he made the final, because he doesn't know how to lose. He might only be in that bracket, but every time he plays, he wins. And you get in that mindset, and you just expect to win. And I think that's why I got there. But anyway, John reeled him in and got him 3-0. So well done to John Quinlan.
Awesome.
That was great, Iceman.
Just going back, so this Kieran, does he play in the major, like the
state snooker?
No, the league of the top players.
No, he was in that second tier, so he'll now go up.
He'll go up to that. It'd be good. It'd be interesting to see how he goes against him.
Yeah, well, he's he told me he was an 80 break snooker player, but he hasn't played for a long time since he moved from Ireland. But he started making 50 breaks in the comp. And a really nice guy who's got a very good technique, nice man. So
it'd just be interesting to see
how he fits.
Because I know the other players. I don't know Kieran. I haven't seen him play, but it'd be interesting how he fits in with the rest, like the Udich and all them guys. Yeah,
well, Frank Zhau's in there and John Quinlan's in there. So he's got one and lost to the other. So he'll give them a run for his money. He's going to get better.
All right, awesome. So I also went away the other week as well, Phil.
Tell us about that story. That's why we can have it.
More stories.
Off to Canberra.
Yeah, went to Canberra for a few days. Played in the King's Cup. A really good setup down there at 12 tables. plenty of room around the tables. A lot of it was streamed. Ended up there was like 5 top players, and a lot of the local players there. I shouldn't say 5. I mean, most of the state players played and all that. But the standouts was Stevie Woods, Justin Sage, Rusty Wheeler, Travis Crawley, myself.
The COVID affected that though, didn't it?
Yes, some of the Victorians couldn't get there. There was Jake had his name down, Mark Robertson had his name down, Steve Jamison was meant to be there. So there's a good handful of top players from Victoria that didn't get there. Yeah. So it just, they still had over 100 players for the event.
It's awesome as well. Isn't it?
Yeah, they were happy. They were happy with that. I think about 118 or something like that.
Talking Canberra.
Yeah. Yeah. So ended up semi-final details. Stevie Woods put me out 9-4, and Rusty and Justin Sage had a really tight match. I think it was 9-7 to Justin Sage.
Yeah.
And Stevie Woods, actually just going back into the quarter-final match, Travis was the unlucky one to draw, like there was 5 top players, and so Travis drew Stevie Woods, and Stevie played awesome in that match, ended up beating Travis like 8-2 or 8-3, I'm not sure. I do recall Travis saying there was like 8 break and finishes or master shots, like one after the break. There was 8 pretty much out off the break clearances, and looking at the scoreboard, obviously most of them were done by Stevie Woods, winning 8-2 or 9-2 or something like that, 9-2, 9-3, I can't remember, but he showed some real class, and Stevie Woods winning that event, I think for the 5th or 6th time, something like that.
He's originally from Canberra, isn't he?
He is from Canberra, yeah. So he beat Justin. Now Justin, you think, oh, he's a great player and all that, but he was, and he is, but he was in lockdown for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
He got out Friday 4 p.m, so hasn't hit a ball, and raced down to Canberra and qualified, and unfortunately lost the final. But obviously not being able to hit the ball for 2 weeks would have hurt. So great effort by Justin.
Yeah, well, you say Iceman was 5 top players, but there's still 100 players in that event.
Yeah.
And you've still got to beat everyone.
That's right. Yeah.
And there's still quality players, but cream rose to the top.
Yeah.
Then players did get through, a bit like our singles on the weekend. You said you had 71 players, Iceman, and we had fantastic players still in that event, but the top 8 have got through and doing what they're about to, and obviously in that event they've done what they're about to, and it could have been any of them guys made the final, but Justin proving again he's a serial pest at making finals.
One match I did forget about was Matt Harmon, who ran the event. He had I don't think it was Hill, might have been 8-6 with an opportunity to go 7-all with Rusty Wheeler in the round earlier, like the last 16. So that stood out where Matt had a good match, played very well against Rusty. And Matt's been around a long time with the ACT team. So, well done to Matt on a good effort. If you're pushing one of the big guys, you're going all right. So, so there you go.
Excellent. Right, man. I've still got more results here.
Yeah.
We had the Queen's Birthday annual 6 Red Classic. Right, man. I played a tournament.
How'd you go, Phil?
No good.
No good.
No good. Well, it was nice to play my first tournament, a snooker tournament this year, and drew Peter Yudich in the first round.
Yeah.
The highlight was I was 2-1 up Iceman.
Yeah, right.
But he rolled me 4-2.
Yeah.
It's too good for me.
Yeah.
And that was the end of that. But the semi-finals was Ryan Zhu and Peter Yudich in one semi-final, which Ryan Zhu got up 4-2. And in the other semi-final, it wasn't a handicapped event, by the way.
It wasn't?
It was. We had Derek Hill and Iceman, this is a blast swear, Arthur Coronas.
Oh.
So Arthur entered, I think, with a bit of a twisted arm. Come on, Archie, we wanted to play. We had 16 players straight knockout, so we had one person pull out, so Arthur went in.
Right.
And Arthur, I wouldn't have seen Arthur play snooker in 3 years, Iceman.
Yeah.
And he made the final and played really well.
Yeah.
But in the final, Ryan Zhu beat him 5-1.
Yeah.
and Archie told me he was just worn out by the time he got to the final. But you know, he's still. We all know how good Archie is. He's a big, great 8-ball player, great billiard player. He's made the final of the state snooker in the past, and fierce competitor. You always know how hard it was playing Arthur. And yeah, so we rope him in, and he makes the final.
Well, you better not do that again. You don't want him playing again.
Did a lot better job than me, I think. Yeah. So so well done to Ryan Zhu winning the Queen's Birthday 6 rope.
Yeah, congratulations, awesome.
So what about upcoming events, Iceman? I know you got a few of them as well.
We got JB's over 50 classic event on the weekend. There's a couple of players coming from interstate. There's Tasmanian putting a team in, so we've got 7 teams for the weekend. It's only teams of 4. And the concept is, you know, trying to catch up with players that we've been playing with for a long time. And that we've known for ages, and JB decided to put the event together. So we've got like 7 teams. The singles start on the Friday, 3 o'clock, and we're looking at a round robin on the Saturday, and the finals all being played on Sunday. So finals of the singles, finals of the teams event as well, semi-final and final of the teams on Sunday. So looking forward to having a good hit out with that, with the old boys.
That's awesome.
Get James off the couch and come down and have a game with us. That'll be good. So it's a good event. It should be interesting. What else have we got coming up? Oh, we've got Berry. Now Berry's on in July, July 17th and 18th. But for the people that can't make the 17th, I know there's an event on in Albury for that week, the week leading up to there. So where Neil is putting on a qualifier at Empire on the 11th, that's Sunday the 11th. You still need to enter through Neil Lemmy to put the names across. So that's still open to get in there, or if you want to just go to Berry and get your accommodation sorted and everything, Neil's still taking names for that as well. So we're getting close to that, and that's one of the biggest events in Australia. It's been going a very, very long time. So, and Neil, puts on a great event down there with good tables. Excellent opportunity.
Well, it is.
Good night.
SA's premier 8-ball event.
Yep, definitely. Good prize money. It's not, $55 enter. That's pretty good. So, but if you can't get up there on the Friday or the Saturday, the qualifier the week before.
The 11th.
Yep. So, that's an opportunity for you if you can't make it. Other than that, that's about it coming up.
Alright, well the only one for me, Iceman, is on July the 1st, which is a Thursday. We've got our Snooker Handicap League starting again. 2-player teams. I think I've only got 2 spots available, so if anybody's interested in putting a team in on a Thursday night, 2-player teams, give me a call.
Sure.
Everything else is good.
Awesome, that's great.
So we've managed to get through all them results, Iceman.
Anything happening overseas? What happened with that UK Championship thing?
Right, the
9-ball?
World 9-ball. I don't know if you checked or not.
No.
What was amazing was the player that won it. You mentioned him here before, which is Ocean.
Yeah.
So he's played in Adelaide before.
Yeah.
And do you know who beat in the final?
No.
He beat Omar. Do you know who Omar is?
That's the Kuwaiti, is it?
Jazzy Jeff's practice partner.
Yeah, right.
So how incredible is that? Like we know how amazing Jasmine is.
Yeah, yeah.
And that his mate is runner-up in the world titles.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So I'd hate to go play in that pool room, Iceman.
Well,
you might leave a bit broke if you walked into that room.
Well, that's got to give Jasmine a bit of confidence, knowing that I'm sure he probably runs 50-50 with Omar.
That's right, yeah. Jasmine would give him a run for his money.
Yeah.
And the guys made the final of the world title.
Yeah, so there you go. Good luck. Good
what
work.
I did notice, Alec, we were talking about when it was in Qatar, how there was no Americans and Westerners in there. And when I looked at the results in this world title, it was all Europeans.
Yeah.
There was hardly any Asian players.
Yeah.
And we know how dominant China and Japan and the Philippines and Taiwan, they're powerhouses in that event. And in the last 16, I reckon there was only one Japanese player.
Right.
So it's been a magnificent event with them playing, but this time they're missing the Asian players in there, and that would all be because of COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah. So doesn't matter. Ocean hasn't won the world title before, so he's a quality player. Yeah. And Omar, he would have been only one of a handful of players to come from that region of the world. Yeah. To go up against the Europeans over in Europe. So although there wasn't all the Asian contingency there, it's still a massive effort from both them players winning it. So the two finalists, we had a little bit of Adelaide connection there, Jazzy Jeff's partner and Ocean playing here in the World Juniors. Yeah. So awesome. Brilliant, Iceman.
Very good.
Well, I don't know how we got through this week. We've probably still missed some results out because there's so much stuff happened in the last 2 weeks. Yeah. But, to everyone that has won a state title, won a tournament in the last couple of weeks, congratulations. Yeah. Yeah. And Iceman, I still think your achievement of making the semi-finals in Canberra was good, and you lost 7-6 to Mikey on the weekend. Yeah. So you know, you still could have
keep going.
You're keeping them on their toes.
Yeah. No, that's all right. It's good.
All right.
Enjoy the challenge.
Iceman.
Thanks, buddy.
Always good to chat.
No
we'll
worries,
see you next week, buddy.
See you, Phil.